Following a worldwide manhunt that lasted over 4 years, 2 men were captured in the winter of 2017 and brought to trial. They face charges including attempts to violate pop culture and sabotage the planet's entertainment industry. After being held for less than 48 hours, these 2 men escaped from a maximum security facility. The fugitives are now believed to be holding up in an unknown secret location where they continue to broadcast their messages to their ever-growing army of renegade followers. Known only by the code names of Theo Cane and Respek BA, these men are armed, these men are dangerous, and these men are criminals.
1, 2, testing. This is Theo Cane
and Respek BA,
and you are now locked into the sound of the Slimehouse Squadcast.
And this is the Lowdown Shelter.
And we're back again, and you are now locked into the sounds of the Slimehouse Squadcast with myself, Theo Cane, and my brother, Respek BA.
Good evening, Theo. What is happening, everyone?
I'm all good, and it's episode 14 of the motherfucking Lowdown Shelter. Anyone that's not tuned in before, this is basically a podcast in conjunction with Slimehouse TV, which I am the CEO of, and that BA writes a lot of reviews for, and we just like to shoot the shit on all the current news topics that we find interesting. So this is not a place where you're going to find political agendas or anything to do with fucking boring news, as we would call it, boring news. We want to talk about the new movies that's coming out, the new games, the UFC, the boxing, all that kind of thing. So this is the Lowdown Shelter. I'm Theo Cane, that's Respek BA, and let's get into it.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I've just been doing before I turn this shit on. I've just found out my old PSP.
Nice. What games you got for it?
Do you know what? I don't even remember. I know I had one that I hacked, and I got all the fucking old NES games and shit, and all the SNES, Super Mario World and all that kind of thing, and Streets of Rage and all the good stuff. And then that one broke, so I got a new PSP, but the firmware on that you couldn't hack or some shit. But I'm sure now you can hack the shit out of it. There'll be plenty of things. It'll be really easy to do now. Back in the day, it was a chore to try and hack your PSP. I think now you'll pretty much be able to pull it apart and do what you want to it. But yeah, I haven't turned the PSP on, I think, when I just looked then, since 2010. So, no, maybe. I remember when I last used it because it was in a music video I did with Milks. I did that. I ain't fucking about, fuckface a battle and I'm punching it out, that track. And I just had it in the video and I haven't used it since then. But I know the discs I've got for it. I got Wipeout, which is a sick game.
Is that the flying racing one?
You're just a flying weird fucking ship going through futuristic tunnels and shit with mad techno music playing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one.
They used to put that on in mad acid house parties. I know a dude now, he's 50 now, but he used to go to mad acid house rave parties at big mansions and shit in the middle of the countryside, and he says a lot of them would have Wipeout set up on massive fucking speakers. You just get off your nut on acid and shit and play fucking Wipeout to the early hours of the morn listening to techno.
What other games did you have?
I think I've got Grand Theft Auto. I've got Tekken on there. I think it's Tekken 5 or some shit like that. The Tekken where you could customize your character and give them all sick outfits and shit. The first one that did that. But what the problem with them with a PSP is that you could get a game they'd be Iron Man for the PS3, and then they'd be Iron Man for the PSP, and it would not be as elaborate as the one for the big console, obviously, because it's a smaller, more compromised version, more compressed. So the Hellboy game I had, but he's only got 6 levels, and then you'd have completed the game. So I preferred games like Worms, where you could if you went on a train journey or in a car journey, you and your boy could just pass it back and forth and play Worms.
Mate, I was still playing fucking Worms, the remade HD version, when it fucking came out on Xbox 360. Worms is still a fucking sick strategy game, mate. I'm a annoying bastard at Worms, though, yeah, because I don't know if you've ever played someone with a strategy of reaching a high point and then building a base. Have you ever played anyone that does that at Worms?
Oh yeah, because you can do that shit, or you can kind of blast the rock and create yourself a little fucking cave tunnel dome kind of thing.
Yeah, but I always get the high point, because when the timer runs out, the water starts rising, innit? So I fucking go to a high point, build a base, stronghold that shit, make all my other worms all teleport into the same base. Yeah, I've got.
Maybe that's that'll be the fucking the PS4 version, or whatever. Like I was just saying, these are more compromised versions of the game, so maybe in Worms it worked in your favour, because if you, well, I never played the main game, but if you were fighting each other on it, there weren't no rising water, you just played for as long as you played.
Oh, seen. Well, yeah, in Worms, basically, in the old PlayStation version, I believe, and in the remade version, there's like a timer, a game timer. You can set it to infinite, obviously, so maybe you were doing that, but there's a game timer, and when the timer runs out, every turn, the water rises like a few feet in it, and worms start to drown, basically. So the high point is like good ground in Worms, basically.
So yeah, I got the PSP
useful.
all charged up, and I'll be interested to see what's on it, just old photos and that kind of thing. But I'm definitely going to try and hack it and get all the old consoles back on. Do you know what it is now, bro? I've got like every old console going. I've got the SNES, I've got the NES, the Dreamcast, the GameCube. And
you got the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
lucky dog.
Yeah, but do you know what it is now? Like the N64 and everything. But nowadays, like, games are so easily accessible that it's like, does it really warrant me having all these consoles? Because they take up room, man. Like, they're cool to look at, but I've got a lot of stuff in my house that's cool to look at. Like, as in regards to like you can do this. I don't have a Fire Stick. I'm not into streaming movies like that. I can't be a filmmaker and then support streaming movies. But like, you can get these mad Fire Stick things now that like have every single game on, like legal ones. You can buy these like consoles with fucking all these games already built in and that kind of thing. Like, or you can buy a console now. I've seen them in Florida that takes a Sega cartridge, a SNES cartridge, an NES cartridge, and it can. Like, they don't really warrant me having like 10 different consoles. I don't even get that much chance to game anymore. I suppose my gaming will be in my retirement when I can't do anything else. That's when I plan to just lay down and smash loads of games that I missed out on.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Our generation's old folks' homes will have video game consoles in them anyway. Do you know what I mean?
What's mad is, like, I was such a massive gamer, like, as a youth, like, every day. Obviously now I don't get much time to game, but there'll always be ones that I make time for, like GTA. Whenever a new one of them comes out, I dedicate my life to it for 6 months to a year. And then online, like last year, I was caning online every single night, and I see it now and I'm tempted to get back on it. Same with like Battlefront and stuff. And Red Dead, when Red Dead Redemption comes out, I'm straight going to be buying that. You know for a fact I'm going to be hammering talking about that on the podcast when that gets dropped.
Mate, I'm going to be on Red Dead Redemption as well, man. People could catch me on Xbox One. I'll be shotgunning their heads off and hanging about in the bordellos.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout the gamer tag out, bruv. Let them add you up.
Respek BA, mate.
Is that what it is? Mine's psychosis _ chef, SHEFF, because they wouldn't let me have enough letters to have chef spendables. So it's just psychosis _ chef when I am online.
Is that PlayStation Network or Xbox?
PlayStation 4, man. That's me. I'm a PS4 guy. You know what it is though? I've been thinking more recently about getting online back, because I enjoy them times, man. And I do so much work and so much editing and so much drawing. Like, I just like to sometimes just sit and just mong out on a game. I got to a point though with GTA where I didn't even want to leave the house anymore, because all I wanted to do was just live in GTA world. Why do I want to go out into the real world where I haven't got 10 cars and I haven't got 10 mil in my bank and I can't just shoot anyone I don't like the look of, and I can't just walk through the street and just rag someone off the motorbike and go on a fucking mad mission up a mountain. You can't do none of that in the real world.
My favourite shit to do in GTA 5 online was I used to fucking get a helicopter and then skydive into Fort Zancudo and steal a fighter jet and then just bop about the map in the fighter jet. I used to love that.
I remember the first time I did that, it was like a proper revolutionary moment. It was like, no way, you can actually steal a jet. No fucking way. And then you can park it in the hangar and then keep it forever.
Yeah. And there's sort of moments I've had online with GTA 5 actually that's like, you know, every so often, because of the way the physics are so realistic in that game, some mad shit will happen that just can still surprise you. I remember me and my mate were like chasing this one dude around the map, terrorising this one guy in cars, and he must have had some sick car as well, and he was a decent driver. And then he was driving past an intersection, and he just got absolutely smashed off a lorry, and then he tried to get out of his car and run away and got hit by another car. And oh man, it was so funny. It might not sound funny describing it, but then me and my mate just slowly pulled up alongside him and machine gunned him while he was trying to stand back up off the floor. It was a hilarious little moment.
I've had some of the fucking most laughs I've ever had playing GTA. When all my crew's online, and we were like doing them stupid stunt jumps and that. Now when you've got, it's like a stunt challenge, and like 10 of you can be doing them at the same time. You've got to like do a mad wall ride and then up some fucking like thing that someone's built in sky. Like, you know, when you can build your own maps with all like mad like stunts, and it's so fucking funny, mate. So good. And just like just the shit when you're all there, just chilling, and then you see like some other map, you see some other crew on map, you're like, yo, what the fuck are these guys? And you go and get your fucking armored cars out and go after them. We used to wipe the map out. What we'd do is we'd be on the map and we'd terrorize everyone so much that they all left the lobby. So we'd go in a lobby that were like full and just wipe everyone out of the map. Fucking right funny. If you ever go on PS4, search for Yorkshire Mercs. That's my crew on PS4. When I do go online, but I'm very, very tempted. I seen that new Gunrunner. I think it's called Gunrunner. That new update they've just done, and I haven't been on it since they updated it with the lowrider. With the lowrider cars, that was the last time I went on. No, sorry, they did.
I heard they got like
that,
some sort of mobile communication center now, which like doubles as a house and a vehicle or some shit like that.
I think that must be from the Gunrunner thing. The last time I went on it actually was when you could buy a yacht. Or maybe Halloween. No, is it Halloween when they do slasher? I think maybe Halloween last year or the yacht. That's when I last went on it.
You know, if you go on Christmas week, you can do snowball fights.
Yeah,
and shit,
I do all that. It
turns
always
to snow
snows.
and
You
all
can
that.
get them firework cannons and things. Do you know what it is though? What puts me off with the GTA Online? You have to fucking spend so much time on it to get any decent money to buy anything. If you want to buy a warehouse and you need like 10 mil, like to get 10 mil on that game takes a lot of fucking graft. So like I like to go on and just have a smash on it.
You have to spam the shit that you know you get good money for in it, and then it just becomes repetitive. Like,
and also, I mean, you can buy money, can't you? You can actually use your real money to buy GTA money. But even that's, I think you get for like a tenner, you get like 2 mil. I think it's not even that much that you get. So you'd have to spend about 50 quid just to get your 10 mil together anyway. So it's not it's not even like if you spend a tenner you get 10 mil. You won't be as averse to doing it. But
what's funny is though, like, hopefully Rockstar and EA learned a valuable lesson with that shit, because they, like, back in the day, games got something called play tested. Now, I'm being sarcastic, obviously they still do, but they don't go through a extensive debugging process like they used to. And GTA 5 got released in a horrible, buggy, unplayable state, GTA Online, when it came out. I don't know if you remember that, if you played it the day it came out.
Yeah, the day it came out, it took ages for it to go live. I remember that.
Yeah, there was all sorts of bugs and shit, but what's funny is, like, they shot themselves in the foot because, yeah, they tried to have all this microtransaction in-game currency shit going on, but because there was so many fucking bugs in the game, people kept finding money duplication glitches, like being able to duplicate the cars and sell them and shit. So, like, yeah, they lost out on so much more potential money had they have actually debugged the game, so, you know, people couldn't do that, but they released the game in a fucking bit of a broken state. And yeah, I'm sick of fucking games doing this, mate. They think that, it's like, imagine if a movie which had the release date of 2 years thought, nah, we'll just release it next year, then throughout the course of the year we'll add more effects to it and finish it.
Yeah,
how fucking dumb would that be? That's what game companies do. Yeah, the game companies do it all the time because they know they can release patches. Like, anyone that plays games know nowadays their game will get patched like 3, 4, 5, 6 times throughout the year, and that's all shit that should have been done before it even came out. So yeah, they're trying to cut corners out here, but fuck them, because they lost out on so much money by doing it with GTA 5. So yeah.
Well, one thing I am doing for definite, and this is something I wanted to talk about, the first point of call for the podcast, is that this week, and I haven't bought it yet, but I am going to buy it for definite, is they've finally released the HD remakes of Crash Bandicoot on PS4. Now, anyone that smashed the Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 and 3 on PlayStation 1 knows how fucking addictive they are, and how cool they are, and how playable they are. So I'm going to get them, and the way I'll justify that is because I always have a lot of people around the house. And to me, that's like a party game. You can put Crash Bandicoot on and just pass the pad, you know what I mean? Have a couple of lives, then pass the pad. I remember smashing, like even like a couple of years ago, we smashed our way through Crash Bandicoot Warped. Like they're just very, very sick. I love that. Do 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 do.
Yeah, it's got classic soundtrack. And you might think it's mad dated in that, but there's something so addictive about, you know, the way they were like little enclosed sort of corridory pathways, and it was just all about simplicity and skill, and it was catchy and repetitive. Yeah, it was a sick game, man. I remember playing that shit way back in the day.
Like eating apples and shit.
Yeah,
when you do that spinning all your apples away, like no, yeah, right, good. So I'm gonna get that next week, because that's just when I've decided I'm gonna get it. Not this week, because if I get it this week, I won't get no work done, and I've got quite a backlog of stuff that I need to get finished.
I remembered about this game the other day, by the way. Do you remember this game for PlayStation 1 called MDK?
Yeah, of course I remember MDK. The fucking mad alien suit with like the long fucking crow's head.
Yeah, it was like a human in a fucking xenomorph suit.
Yeah, but it was first person. You don't really see the dude.
No, it was third person, I think. You could go into first person with a sniper
that's why I remember.
rifle.
Yeah, that's why I'm remembering. Cause I remember playing it and thinking, well, you can't ever see how cool his head is. I must have just I didn't play it much. I just remember as a kid, like I just put it on. Maybe it were a demo. I think maybe it was the demo that I actually saw. I actually played. But yeah, I definitely remember. It was like from that era of like Shadow Man and shit, where they had those like weird fucking characters, man. The 90s was like prime for very weird out there fucking characters. It's that Spawn, the Max, all that fucking era. Do you know what I mean? It's all that era of like bringing out really weird, outlandish characters.
But I swear MDK was like the first game where you could actually, when you equipped a sniper rifle, you could look down the scope. I remember like being like, oh shit, you can actually zoom in with a sniper rifle, like a real sniper rifle. And I think MDK was the first game I can remember that did that shit, you know.
Yeah, I don't know for definite. I don't know if it came out before Silent Scope or all that kind of shit. Maybe it probably did. Yeah,
mate, if that's on your PlayStation Marketplace, by the way, I'll be jealous, and I recommend you check it out, Theo, because that shit's a little slept on. It's like proper action-packed, that game, mate. I reckon it would still be fun to play.
I've probably got it anyway. I've got about 200 PlayStation 1 games, so I've probably got it anyway. They all play on PS3 and all. So awesome. I'll have a look. But if it's on Marketplace, it'll probably play a bit smoother anyway. The thing is, with a PlayStation, they crash so much. PlayStation 1 games are so prone to crash. I remember, like, do you know when you had it when you were little and it comes up with like doodle-ling, whatever that little sound is at the start of PlayStation, and then it'd just hold on that screen and you're like, please don't crash, please don't crash. Then it'd go doodle-ding onto the next bit where it went black with PS2 with PlayStation side. It started off with Sony, then it went to the black screen, and then you were like, yes, next stage. And then the game would load up.
Was that not more when your disk drive started to go though?
Oh yeah, or whatever. They just crash, and then you're there blowing fucking disk and trying to wipe it and trying to make it work. Fucking PlayStation, especially if you had a chipped PlayStation, like them games that were a $5 that they run off on a fucking burning machine. That's probably why half of them crashed. But that's a thing that you don't really get too much of anymore. I never really hear about people having like pirated games and things. That were like a huge fucking industry. So I suppose nowadays pirating movies is a lot more prolific, whereas back then it weren't as common to pirate movies as like Fire Sticks and shit. But
even the DVD game's kind of dead though, because I know a guy who, like, you know, that was his main income, was bopping about selling, you know, pirated games, DVDs, pornos.
Everyone knows that guy,
Yeah, but nowadays the games and DVDs have gone, but apparently there's still a market for porn, man. People still like the DVD porn.
They like apparently. The DVD porn. Well, it's the thing in it. It's the Fire Stick generation. Everyone just sits and fucking just streams everything. And I was in the spa the other day, and some little kid picked up like a Ninja Turtles DVD or something. It's like, oh, Mum, can I have this? I've not seen it. She's like, Neo, we'll get it on Fire Stick. We'll get that on Fire Stick. And I just think that, like, the reason that the DVDs will become obsolete is because of people like you that just want to sit on your fucking Fire Stick all day, don't actually just buy any physical media. Nobody wants anything physical anymore. They just want everything like on demand and on just at the flick of a button, and you don't appreciate it as much. If I put a film on Netflix, chances are it's just on in the background. But if I get a film off the shelf on a DVD that I've bought, I'm paying attention to that fucker, because I've not only bought it, I've made the effort to get it out the box, look through my DVD shelf to find it, put it on. I'm paying attention to that fucker. If it's something that I just fucking just sit on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, I probably don't even pay as much attention to it.
Yeah, I tell you what fucking pisses me off about that whole game nowadays, and what puts me off from making more purchases. So they're kind of fucking themselves, and here's why. So Xbox One as a Blu-ray player, that Blu-ray player doesn't fucking play a lot of normal DVDs anymore. It used to, but now it doesn't play all of the normal DVDs, only Blu-rays. And then I was looking through the shop the other day, and now they've got some fucking 4K Ultra HD shit, which some Blu-ray players can't play. So, like, they keep trying to release new formats. It's like, bro, I don't even care if it's DVD quality, just fucking stick to one so that it doesn't render my collection obsolete if I do purchase your shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
And they put it in a different size box, so Blu-rays are in a different size box to DVD, so that you can't even like have them on the same shelf because then they don't look right.
Yeah,
I'm
they
an
look
OCD
stupid.
bastard.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2 on DVD, and then 3 on a Blu-ray, and then 4 and 5 on DVD, and then I've just got one that sticks out looking fucking obsolete, looking obscure.
Innit? But I swear they would actually
annoying.
still be selling more actual units of shit if they stuck to a format, but because there's like a fucking format war between companies, it's like making the water even fucking murkier, and it puts me off buying shit, because now I think, oh look, that's on DVD, I won't even be able to watch that in 2 years. Oh, that's on Blu-ray, well everything will have switched to this 4K Ultra HD fucking shit in a few years.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, pick a lane and stay in it, people that make DVDs. I might buy more, you know what I mean? So
well, I saw that shit starting when they had HD and Blu-ray DVDs. Remember the war between the HD and the Blu-ray? So just think how quick those HD DVDs got made obsolete. Something that proper used to fuck with me and all, and it still does a bit, but I'm very on top of it now, is I buy a lot of like foreign random fucking mad movies that you can't even get in England. Lots of Godzillas and Japanese stuff and that kind of thing, and mad like Italian films, and a lot of them are like the region codes are different. So
yeah, NATSC and PAL.
No, region 1, region 2, etc.
Right.
So
yeah.
you used to be able to hack your DVD player. If you held like so many buttons down, it'd like flash, and then you could pick what region. If you put it region 0, it'd play anything, or multi-region, whatever. But that you can't do that on the PlayStation 4, to my knowledge. There probably is a way, but I'm not techie enough to do it. Like I bought Cannibal Holocaust on Blu-ray, but it won't play on the PS4 because it's a set region. I bought Miami Connection on Blu-ray, it won't play because it's some specific region. So it's fucking annoying. But it used to do it on the PSP. Just going back to the PSP, I bought Godzilla Final Wars from America, and it wouldn't play on my PSP because it were the next region.
Ah, shit, man.
So
I bet you were looking forward to playing that as well.
Yeah. Well, that weren't a game. That was just a film. But this is back when you used to buy. Oh yeah, another obsolete format. You know that UMD little films that you used to get for your PSP.
And fucking mini discs as well for music.
Yeah,
that was like 2 years and gone. Like they are killing their market by fucking making so many variations of format. Just like pick one, people will have confidence that it's going to be there in 10 years, and maybe invest in collecting things towards it. Do you know what I'm?
Yeah. I mean, VHS were around for fucking years, weren't they? VHS were around for fucking years, man. So
yeah, man.
Stop updating everything, because motherfuckers like me that like that shit to look nice on the shelf don't want to buy it.
Yeah. I'm not saying progression is a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, please, when you progress, like, there is no difference to me between fucking Blu-ray and 4K Ultra HD. There just isn't. You lot are taking the piss now. Blu-ray should have had a fucking lifespan of 20 years and then bring out the proper next level thing to eclipse it. Not just a slight fucking upgrade that forces people to have to, like, fucking spend more money and shit. It's like when I heard this new Xbox One's coming out, mate. I forget the name of it, but do you know there's a new Xbox One coming out? Yeah,
you were saying that there's another Xbox One.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit, man. I spent fucking money on my Xbox. I ain't buying this next slight upgrade Xbox One, and because of it, they're going to start releasing games that can only run smoothly on the new one, and my Xbox One's going to have some fucking mad, crashy, jittery shit because it just doesn't have the capabilities to run the new games they're making. They're fucking taking the piss, mate.
Is it not that this new one they're bringing out, they're making it so that you don't have to buy a new console from now on, you just buy like a new hard drive or a new processor for it, like a PC?
Yeah, it's like a fucking moddable PC console, but what I'm saying is though the basic thing comes with like it's boasting about being an upgrade on the Xbox One. So the game companies are gonna start making games with the graphic capabilities of that new one, not my one.
Yeah.
And then when my one tries to play the new games they've made for the new one, it'll run them like shit. Because it ain't got the stuff. So basically they're punishing everybody who invested in an Xbox One and can't afford to keep fucking shelling out every 2 years for the next thing. Like, I was expecting Xbox One to have a lifespan of like 15 years, mate. Same as like the 360, same as the PlayStation. It's had a lifespan of like 5 years and they're already bringing out some next thing that's going to render it obsolete. That's, again, fucking lame.
Well, I swear at the last E3, last year's E3, there were like a rumour that Xbox were going to be bringing in something that like, when you bought a game, you could only play it on your console, and it were to like stop DVD, like because they make no money from like KEX, CEX, and like resales and shit. They were gonna make it so that it was console specific. So when you bought the game, you registered it to your console and your console only, and then you could never sell it on.
Yep, they did, man. There was a huge backlash. It's actually regarded as like one of the worst like launches for something in history. Like the reception it got.
Really?
Because they were basically trying to control the narrative by wording basically restrictions they'd put in place as cool things. So they were like, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll let you share a game with your friend, but you can't share a game with anyone else but your friend. So when you buy a game, that game comes with a one-time code. You register it to your machine, and then you register it to the friend you're sharing it with. But after that, you can't return it to the shop because you've paid for the code's been activated. So they were trying to render like second-hand trading obsolete with that, but wording it in a sneaky way. So it's like, oh, play a game with your friend for free, and everyone was like, fuck off, narrative controlling cunts. That means no fucking resale value, dicks. Yeah. So.
It reminded me, I don't know, completely different, but this is when ADHD kicks in. But I remember when we were in school, my mate Danny Beck, shouts out to Danny Beck, he's a fucking DJ and a beefer now, he's doing well. But he worked at like a printers for his work experience. And there are printers that printed vouchers. So he robbed from work like fucking 200 of these vouchers for game. And they were like 5, 10 and £20 vouchers, and he was shotting them off at school. So he'd sell you like a tenner for a £20 voucher. So I bought like fucking about 150 quid's worth and took them to the shop, and we were just buying everything because she just got them proper cheap. Might have even been cheaper. It might have even sold them like a £5 for a 20 quid voucher, to get rid of them quick. But after a while, they locked onto them because every single one had the same fucking code on it or something. So like I took the last ones in, and they wouldn't accept them. But yeah, it was, we had a good run with them, mate.
Nice.
Buying Xbox One games. Anyway, moving on, because we've got lots of fucking topics to cover at the minute. There's something that's really fucking weird at the minute that I've noticed. I'm not really a Snapchatter. I know you don't have Snapchat, but I know Snapchat is one of the biggest fucking apps. Critical explained to me why he thinks it's the biggest app, and it's because nowadays everyone likes everything on demand. They want everything now, and also the fact that it limits it. If you don't watch that Snapchat within 24 hours, then it's gone forever and you'll never see it again. So the fact of like the urgency is another thing what people warm to. I don't know. I don't really get Snapchat. I think it's a bit fucking shit. You can make your face like a dog. People seem to take a lot of videos of the kids and stuff on it. It's really not my thing. But I know some people have millions and millions of fucking followers on that shit. But there's a new thing that they've introduced on it now, and it's called like location or something. So if you've got Snapchat and I've got Snapchat, I can click and it tells me where you are. It tells me if you're in a car. It tells me who you're with. Nah, I ain't got nothing to hide. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to hide, so I don't give a fuck. I deleted it anyway because I don't even have Snapchat. But I'm thinking, how long is it going to be before someone dies over that? One guy's to his girlfriend, where are you? Oh, I'm at my mum's. And then she's not at her fucking mum. She's with someone else driving in a car. And he's going to be like, you fucking slag, and drive after her. Or like, just anything. If I said to you, yo, BA, are you coming out? Oh, I can't. I'm at my fucking nan's. She's ill or something. Then I look and I'm like, what? No, you're not. You're in your house, you lying bastard. Fuck off. Wait till I see that cunt. Like, how long is it going to be before someone dies? Maybe my brain just looks at everything negative, but surely that's not something that's safe. You can put it into ghost mode, but I don't think it's like permanent. Like, I was looking the other day where my mate Dom were. I was looking on Lowry's phone, and I was looking where Dom were, and I was texting him like, "Yes, Dom, what's West Street saying? What's Sharrow saying? What's happening down on Shalesmore?" And he's just like, "What the fuck? How'd you know?" And then I'm like, "Check your Snapchat, bro." It's proper bait.
That is fucked up. And what is that a feature they added without even alerting people? Yeah.
Mhm. Well, no, I know it might have alerted you, but maybe people didn't think that bad of it. It was just just obviously your phone. It'll send you a message when it's time to update, so you'll have updated it, and like it might be like all that read me, read more. You don't read that shit. If I update my Instagram, I don't read all the new features. I'll just figure them out for myself. It just might be that some people figure it out while they're getting fucking shot by a hitman because they've got a fucking target on the back.
Innit, man? They'll be the first Snapchat serial killer, like.
Yeah. Yeah, I also heard today that Anonymous announced that the government have actual evidence that there's been aliens discovered. Did you hear about this? It got announced today. So it's not a case of do aliens exist, it's when are the government going to let us know that they know they exist. And that was announced by Anonymous today.
Nice, I'm going to check that just now. That's cool, man. So what are they saying? Aliens have visited, or they just are aware of alien life?
It's only a very quick video, but what I was thinking, I'm just thinking, listen...
Is it an official anonymous thing?
Pardon?
Is it an official anonymous video?
Yeah, from what I say, it was in the Independent. It was in an actual newspaper. It weren't like just something that went viral on Facebook.
Soon.
But what I was thinking is funny is if aliens came to this planet, like... they'd just fucking wipe it out the sky, mate. Some of this bullshit you see every day. Like, I'll be walking through town and see some fucking drunk pisshead, like, and his mate, like, just falling over themselves, pissing on each other, like, and I just think, do you know what? Or I see some, like, horrible slob family, like, just fucking eating junk food and just sat looking a mess and just, like, just living like fucking cavemen, and I just think if aliens landed now, they just fucking and that's the first thing they saw. They'd be like, "Wow, this race aren't up to much. Let's just fucking wipe them out and take all the resources." It wouldn't surprise me at all if aliens discovered us and just blew us out of the fucking sky.
Well, I actually don't believe that the government has made contact with aliens, mate. And you know me, I'm Captain Conspiracy over here. But I also trust the words of genius scientists, and from what I can gather, there's more resources on certain meteorites than Earth, so there's nothing on this planet resource-wise other than organic material that can't be found in abundance on meteorites or other planets, right? There's loads of planets that look like they can facilitate life as well, so organic material probably isn't rare either. So that leads you to think, why would they come to just conquer us? They wouldn't. They would be smart enough to send drones before manned stuff as well, like we do. We have drones. What, you think aliens wouldn't have drones? They would always crash into the ground with two little green men fucking themselves. I just don't see that happening. They would send unmanned shit if they were unsure. They would be smart enough to check the atmospherical conditions of the planet to know whether they need suits, if their fucking ships would hover in our atmosphere. And all of that shit would be planned out because they would be more advanced than us. So, as one scientist said, I forget who he said, but he was like, if you're walking past an anthill, do you stop at the anthill and try and explain your iPhone to them? Because the iPhone is something we've developed over the last fucking 20, 25 years or whatever it is now. Maybe even less than that, right? So imagine if they are just 100 years ahead of us, how hard it will be for them to understand our primitiveness. Well, I suppose it would be kind of familiar, but they wouldn't be as interested in us as we are in them. Now, 100 years is a very small scale considering how old the universe is. I think it's like 13.7 billion years old, yeah? So, imagine if they're 1,000 years ahead of us, 1 billion years ahead of us. We would never be able to understand them anymore, and they would have no reason to be interested in us. We're just something they are aware of and they've seen 1,000,000 times before. So, yeah, I just truly don't believe there would be any reason for aliens to come and, like, it's a modernized version of the same mindset that I believe a lot of religions come from, and, like, It's us fucking valuing our own importance in a science fiction-y modern way. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they don't. They wouldn't come and strike a deal with the government, and they wouldn't give a fuck. Do you know what I'm saying? I truly believe that, man. So yeah, maybe. Who knows though? Who fucking knows? Maybe I'm 100%.
But I suppose
wrong.
what they're saying is that the government are aware that there are aliens, whether they've made contact with them or whatever. They are aware that they exist, and it's just so it's now not a case of do they exist. It's when do we get to find out that we know that they.
Well,
exist.
that's cool because I genuinely believe there's all sorts of fucking advanced technological alien life throughout the universe. I'm fully convinced of it. I don't think we're the only ones, and I don't think we happen to be the most advanced. I think if you just see Earth as a life planet, right? Any planet that's able to facilitate life, they're all born at different times, and some life planets have probably been about way longer than Earth and have species that haven't destroyed themselves on it that are just technologically in a place that people in our generation wouldn't even understand what they have or how they have works. But maybe in a million years we'll be like, oh, that's how they were doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're dealing with a species that could potentially be millions of years older than you. We would have no idea how any of their shit worked, and they would have no reason to explain it to us.
Well, there's one thing that we can be certain: if aliens do invade, myself and BA are fucking ready for them motherfuckers. Always stay ready. Stay frosty, stay ready. There.
Get me. They better be at least a million years ahead of us, or they have very little chance of success.
Well, I tell you what, something I did last week that I want to talk about is I went to the fucking Luchador Wrestling in Manchester. I booked it ages ago, so we got ringside seats. And anyone that listens to the podcast knows that I'm a big fan of wrestling. I only casually mention it on here because I don't really keep up to date with like what's new in the world of wrestling, like the latest wrestling news. I couldn't tell you who the current WWE champion is and that kind of thing. But I always watch like the big stuff like Mania and the Rumble. I'm a fucking connoisseur of all like WCW and all that kind of shit. And obviously you like your wrestling, you like your ECW and all that kind of thing. So we like wrestling on this podcast, and I just saw randomly an advert for Lucha Wrestling at Manchester. Now I know that the AAA Lucha Wrestling comes to London, but it don't very often come up north. So when I saw it, I was like, boom, Razel, that's my boy who's into wrestling. Let's get tickets for it. And we got ringside seats. We were fucking sick. Anyone that don't know what the Lucha Wrestling is in particular, Lucha Wrestling is like, the most in my opinion, it's the most beautiful form of wrestling. It's all the luchadors with the masks on, and anyone that knows anything about a luchador, he'll never take off his mask. If he does get his mask removed, then he can never put it on ever again. He can never reinvent himself as a new luchador. He has to hang up his hat as that character and just be who he is as a person, his actual real name from then on. So when a wrestler gets demasked, it's always like a very, very big deal. There was no unmasking, however, going on at the Manchester Luchador Wrestling. But yeah, man, it was sick. So we went to Manchester, and the whole building was set out like a proper traditional, like Mexican venue. They had like all the flags up and that kind of thing. They had the Lucha Libre Titantron set up, and they were serving nachos and tacos and all that kind of thing. Proper. So, yeah, it was sick. So we're sat ringside, like bang at the fucking side of the ring. I've got a rum and coke. I've got some nachos. I'm ready to watch the Lucha. And the first match was actually. I'll talk a bit about the announcer first. So the announcer came into the ring, and he starts explaining what is like the just the culture of Lucha, first of all, the names of the bad guys and the good guys, and it makes me laugh. And he's saying, we have the good guys, we call them the technicos, the heroic type, those who play by the rules. And then he says, and then we have the rudos, the bad guys, the evil guys, the ones who don't play by the rules, guys with attitudes, guys with tattoos. And he was just making me laugh, man, talking about the different types of wrestlers. So he really got the fucking crowd fired up, you know, before a wrestler had even entered the ring.
A good MC.
Very good. A proper traditional Mexico. And from Mexico, a Mexican announcer. And so, yeah, the first match, I'm not going to go through every match, but the first match was from a team called Lucha Britannia. So they're all British guys fighting lucha style, wrestling in the lucha style with masks on, and they were fucking incredible, bro. They were incredible. The shit that they were doing, like the high risk maneuvers, all the technical high flying and stuff. It were proper sick. There was 2 guys and 2 girls, and I can always appreciate a hot fucking female wrestler doing some sick head scissor hurricanrana and shit, taking bumps, taking falls, and getting straight back up. I also found out that one of the girls that was in the first match, she broke a leg, because I added her today on Twitter and just dropped her a message saying, yo, sick way to open a show. I proper enjoyed the show in Manchester. And she broke a leg in the match, or like fractured it or some shit. She said it happened within like the first 2 minutes of the match, and the match was like 15 minutes long, so she proper powered through it, bless her. Like,
damn.
That's a hard chick. I've had girlfriends before. You give them like a little poke messing about, and they're like, "Ow, what you doing, you fucking stupid dickhead? That hurt." Do you know what I mean? And I see these girls get fucking slammed off the top turnbuckle onto the back and shit. So yeah, I always appreciate.
Pain tolerances vary with different people, obviously, but yeah, what a soldier.
Yeah, no, very sick. So the first match was a fatal 4-way, 2 guys, 2 girls. They had this chick called Ragdoll, she was small, man, with like a plait to the side with like a Day of the Dead mask on, and she was hot, bro. She was doing all sick flip. She came down, patted all the crowd's hands, and then did like about 7 fucking backflips and a standing back tuck at the end. Sick.
Damn.
So yeah, man, it was very sick way to enter it. Now, one of the main reasons I went to this is because I'm a huge fan of luchadors wrestling, Lucha Libre, so I would have gone anyway. But El Santo was wrestling. Now, El Santo is the most iconic Mexican wrestler of all time. If you ever go on YouTube and type in Jonathan Ross El Santo, he used to do a TV show. I think I've mentioned it on here before, the Incredibly Strange Film Show and the son of the Incredibly Strange Film Show. And he does a whole episode on El Santo, because El Santo is like a national treasure in Mexico. He's an icon, and he starred in tons of like action and horror films, all in Mexican pretty much. But it'd be like El Santo versus the Vampires, El Santo and Blue Demon, who's another well-known luchador.
Does he hurricanrana a vampire?
No, he doesn't know.
Ah.
He's more of like a strong style, like old school wrestler.
Oh really? I didn't think you got them in Mexican wrestling.
Yeah, you get your big dudes. I mean, and you get your big dudes, bro. I'll talk a little about him in a minute. But yeah, so you've got El Santo. I mean, he did hurricanranas and stuff, but I don't remember seeing him hurricanrana any of the bootleg Mexican Universal Monsters. So I've been a fucking huge fan of El Santo. I want to get an El Santo tattoo. Now he's sadly passed away, but his son is El Hijo del Santo, and then there's his son, who is El Santo Jr., and both of those guys was wrestling that day. So, as much as there was tons of cool, iconic wrestlers, those were the 2 that I really wanted to see. Before that, we had a couple of sick matches, and the match that was the runner-up to the main card was exotic, which is called, well, it's actually a he. So basically, you get transvestite luchadors, and they're known as exoticos. Exotico. So they had some machos, which is like your macho man, the machos, versus the exoticos. One of the machos was El Hijo de Fishman, and Fishman is another like legendary luchador who died this year actually. So the dude that was wrestling now is the person who the mask was passed on to, the mantle was passed on to, El Hijo del Fishman. So, right. So Fishman was wrestling with one of the Lucha Britannia guys, who was like a ninja dude in a mask. He was fucking sick. And Cassandro was wrestling with, I can't remember the name, but like another exotico, like a gay guy with like, he got lots of pink on, and he's running around clapping and shaking his ass and fucking he going down tapping everyone's hands and stuff, and I'm like, wait, tapping his hands for this gay guy. So so it was 2 exotic.
I didn't think that was an aspect of Mexican wrestling, you know, that it was so cool. With, like,
Cassandro Exotico
like
is
that.
one of like the most iconic luchadors of like this era. He's probably like nearing his 50s now, and he's still doing it. So yeah, that was cool, because I remember years ago there was a documentary. I watched it again the other night. Do you remember Justin Lee Collins that used to be on TV? He's not on it anymore.
Yeah, I remember the guy's name, but I can't put a face to it.
He was on the Friday Night Project with Alan Carr. Justin Lee Collins. He talked like that. He's from I think he's like he's from like Bristol, that kind of area. Bristol, when he talks like that, Justin Lee Collins. So he did a little documentary where he became a lucha, like he trained for 10 days and became one, and the lucha that trained him was Cassandro. So I always knew about this wrestler. So they did a match. Now, when you book front row seats ringside at a wrestling event, you need to understand that the chances of you getting involved to a certain extent is very, very likely. Meaning that, like, when wrestlers fly out of the ring or they come out and they fight, the chances of them spilling into you, it's gonna usually fucking happen. And anytime I've been to a wrestling show and I've been in front row, like, someone will get thrown into the rafters and the rafters bang into you and stuff, and I love it. But nothing had ever happened like this. So Fishman and the other dude are outside the ring, like, dazed, and Cassandro and his tag team partner fucking ran off the back ropes, lunged forward through the middle ropes and front flipped straight into Fishman and the other dude, and they just came crashing into us. It weren't like they hit us a bit, they full on fucking landed on me and Razel. I took a picture of it, it's on my Instagram.
Dope.
Yeah,
that's
like
dope.
And I just fucking, I was buzzing me, I thought it was sick, I thought it was right good. Like, there were people around us like tutting because they'd spilt the drink and that, but me and Razel thought it was fucking right good. So
yeah,
that was cool. And then the last match, which was El Santo, and I'm fucking buzzing when El Santo came out against Bandijo and the dude called Silver King, who is another legendary fucking luchador. And Silver King is the wrestler that's in the movie Nacho Libre with Jack Black. He's the bad guy in that film. So he's up there, man. He's one of the most famous luchadors. So it was Bandijo and Silver King versus El Santo and El Santo Jr. It's a fucking sick match. And this was like a 3-fall match. So usually in wrestling, they'll go, the following match is scheduled for 1 fall, and all the crowd go,
so it's like a best of 3, yeah?
Yeah, like a best of 3. So obviously El Santo win. They're like the good guys. They're Technicos, and Silver King and Bandijo are the Rudos. So the Technicos win the first round, and then the Rudos won the second, and then obviously El Santo and El Santo Jr. pulled it back for the third match. But something fucked happened, mate. So during the last round of the match, Bandijo and Silver King are like kicked out of the ring, and they come over. Bandijo came over to Razel. He's like, "Give me your chair, give me your chair." So Razel fucking steps up and he like rags his chair from underneath him, and he goes, "1 more." And I just got up and passed him my chair, and then I'm like, fucking hell, my favourite luchador of all time, El Santo's there, and I've just passed someone a chair to smash him around the fucking head with it. So I'm feeling quite bad. Obviously, I know it's all set up, but that's my guy, innit, El Santo. So we had to then stand up and move to the side of the ring, but at this point, we're pretty much lent on the side of the ring while this is happening. And they're smashing each other with chairs, and they fucked the chairs up, man. You couldn't sit back on them. They were all cracked. And so, yeah, the match ended, and then at the end of the match, Silver King and El Santo, they're doing a bit of back and forth arguing, and then as El Santo walk off, the El Santo and El Santo Jr., Silver King invited this dude into the ring. Now, but I'll just go back to the start of the event. When I was getting my nachos, I started talking to this guy, because I just talk to random people, and it turns out the dude was an MMA fighter, and like his mother-in-law had bought him tickets for wrestling because she just presumed it's all fighting, he'll enjoy it. So he's like, I don't even know nothing about wrestling, I don't even watch wrestling, like I'm an MMA fighter, I love MMA, but she bought me these tickets and I felt bad, so I just went, like, so I'm just here, I don't know what to expect. I said, well, this is probably, like, if this is your introduction to watching wrestling, you couldn't pick a better fucking introduction, it's sick. He goes, what's it like? I goes, it's high flying, there'll be lots of flips and mad shit. And he's like, oh yeah man, sick. He was from like Newcastle, he sounded Geordie or some shit. So he was sat at the other side of the ring. And throughout the event, I saw him getting so into it. And I'm one of them guys, when I know other people are enjoying something, it makes me feel happy. Like I like to buy, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I like to buy my friends and shit cool presents when it's their birthday, because knowing that they're happy gives me enjoyment. So I saw this guy, and like the first match happened, and like when the girl walked out, he's like, what the fuck, is a girl wrestling? No way. And then when they're doing the slams and taking the falls, I could see him like, what, getting right into it. So I was just buzzing that this guy had never experienced wrestling, because most MMA people are like, oh, fucking wrestling's gay, it's fake, MMA is much better. So the fact that this guy was enjoying it were cool. And then at this last match, when Bandijo and Silver King were wrestling the El Santos, he kind of got involved. He like Silver King said something to him, and that guy was like, "Fuck off, dickhead." So Silver King chopped the guy across his chest. But he just thought it was fucking right. The guy loved it, like he thought it was funny. And then Bandijo got thrown out of the ring. So this guy picked up Bandijo and rolled him back into the ring. So I'm like, this guy's fucking nuts. He's getting proper involved in the wrestling match. And then at the end of it, when all was finished, Silver King goes, "You get in the ring, get in the ring." So this guy, because the music were playing and Silver King were having like a bit of a dance at ring pissing about. So this guy got in and started dancing. And then next minute, everyone from crowd just starts jumping at ring and having a fucking dance in middle at ring. And I didn't jump in and had a dance, but I jumped on the ring and took a selfie next to it. Do you know what I mean? Because it had to be done. But it was cool, man. It was so interactive. And then the coolest thing happened. El Santos stood up and they were like, "After this, we're gonna just take a quick break and then we're gonna come out. If you want an autograph, if you want a photo, if you want a sign or anything, just come see us." So I was like, "No fucking way, I'm gonna get to meet him." Like, I never expected that. If I'd have thought I could have met him, I would have took the fucking podcast mic and got a quick interview or some shit. I didn't know that were a possibility. Because I did actually contact them before, the AAA Wrestling, and said, "Look, I run a TV show, I run a podcast and stuff. Any chance I can get any interviews?" But they never got back. So yeah, I got to meet fucking I got to meet Fishman and El Santo and El Santo's dad, and I bought a fucking little wrestling figure off El Santo. And I got my picture with them both, and I met them and said, "Big up, man, I'm proper big fan of your fucking family history and what you've done tonight. You put on a sick performance." He's just like, "Thank you, bro. That means a lot, man. That's really good to know. Thank you." And but Fishman and El Santo Senior could barely speak English, so Fishman, I got I kicked myself because I went and I'm like, I'm gonna buy wrestling masks, and then he said to, and I asked Fishman, I'm gonna sound like a right cheap bastard. But I'd spent quite a bit of money in Manchester, and then I said to Fishman, "How much are your masks?" And he's like, £40. And I thought, I can't really fucking spend 40 quid on this, because I've got to pay the petrol back home, I've got to pay for the parking, that's like 40 quid just there. So I thought, I can't really warrant buying a mask. So I bought a sign off him. I just bought a picture off him and asked him to sign it me. So he signed it me, and I'm trying to explain my name, and I'm going, Theo, Theodore, T-H-E-O. He's like, oh, like cheetah. And I'm like, no, T. So I wrote it down. I just got his marker and just wrote Theo on my arm. He's like, "Oh, okay. And he wrote, "To my friend Theo, thank you for watching. Fishman." Cool as fuck. So I met him, and then when I was driving home, I was like, I wish I'd have just bought that fucking mask, because he could have signed it, man. It'd look sick. And now I'm losing sleep every night thinking how sick that Fishman mask would have looked on my shelf. So I'm definitely buying one next time. It was such a sick turnout. There was like There was like about 900 to 1,000 people there in like this cool venue, the Albert Hall. It's like a church. So I'll definitely be going back. And I just recommend anyone, if you enjoy wrestling or whatever, man, just go. If you just like a good show, it's the best live show I've ever seen. In my opinion, it's one of the best live shows on the planet. It's so fucking colourful and cool and fun, and everyone were in good vibes. Like during the breaks, there were Mexican music playing. I'm looking and there's like couples just doing the salsa and shit in the rafters. I thought it's cool as fuck, man. And there were so many people that brought wrestling masks and taking pictures next to the ring. There were 3 guys next to us, proper Mexican guys, big Mexican guys dressed as Hurricane Ramirez, Blue Demon, and El Santo, and they were trying to take pictures like. And I says, "Oh, here's your camera. I'll take one of all 3 of you." And then they took one of us holding their masks next to the ring. So just had a proper good night out, man. That's better than any night out fucking clubbing and wasting a lot of money or getting pissed and feeling hungover. Go to the fucking Lucha Wrestling, man. If it comes back, I recommend that you go, because it's a proper good night. You get to eat tacos, watch wrestling. You can get pissed if you want to get pissed, and you can even meet the fucking luchadors and take selfies with them after, and have a fucking disco in the ring if you want. It had everything. It was fucking sick. So yeah, proper enjoyed the Lucha Wrestling.
Sick, bro, sick. Sounds like a laugh, mate. Next time you go, holler me if I've got the available
and you know what?
funds. I'll come check that shit.
Definitely. It was like 30 odd quid a ticket for ringside seats. I mean, they get sold up quick, so I'm glad that I got them well in advance. And now I follow them on Twitter and everything, so like, as soon as they get announced, the next show, I'll be there. I was tempted to even go to London next week and watch them again, because it was just such a fucking sick show. But yeah, man, definitely recommended. Moving on, because time is a ticking. It's been announced. Like I think we talked about it a bit last week, but they're saying that the Venom movie is part of the MCU, then it isn't part of the MCU, and no one can kind of fucking work out at the minute whether it is. They'd be very, very fucking stupid, like I said before, to make a Venom movie that's not connected to the Avengers and the Spider-Man film that they're doing and stuff. But then again, fucking more pathetic, stupid things have happened in Hollywood. Either way, it's still up in arms, and it was kind of slipped last week that it might be connected to the MCU, and then Kevin Feige, who runs Marvel Disney, came back this week and said, no, it's not. But we don't know if he's just saying it because they keep the cards close to the chest and they want to surprise us all when the trailer drops. I don't know. Either way, it has been confirmed that Carnage is the villain in the movie. Do you know? Do you know about Carnage?
Yeah, I know I don't know much about him, but I know what the character looks like and how sick the character is.
Well,
like,
Carnage is pretty much the fucking most vile villain in the Marvel universe. Eddie Brock is Venom, and as much as Eddie Brock is a villain, he's not like a murdering fucking horrible scumbag that would kill his own parents kind of dude. Cletus Cassidy is. That's the dude that's the Carnage's alias, Cletus Cassidy. Cletus Cassidy was a serial killer before he was a supervillain. So he's in prison, and when Eddie Brock's in prison, they end up in the same cell. And as part of Venom, goes on to Cletus Cassidy and merges with him. Now, Venom always refers to himself as we. We are Venom. But the symbiote merges with Cletus Cassidy so well. They fit together so much that he refers to himself as I am Carnage. And when he escapes from prison, he's killing people, he's writing fucking Carnage on the wall in his own blood. He's a fucking dirty, horrible bastard. He killed his own fucking... He killed his own grandma. He stabbed his mum's dog. He was a horrible bastard before he even become a Marvel villain. So they've been throwing names about of who should play him. And now, the internet's all saying Jim Carrey. But you've got to think, Jim Carrey ain't going to do that. Jim Carrey, when he was in Kick-Ass 2, the character he played did lots of violent shit, and then I think it was that like around the time of the of that massacre in the cinema when a dude went in with orange hair and they said he was supposed to be like the Joker and killed loads of people. I think it came out at like the same time.
Yeah, the Dark Knight massacre.
Yeah. Well, there was
thing.
something like that happened at the same time, and Jim Carrey said, I've done the movie now, but I don't want to do any promotion for it because I think in the world we're living in now, I don't want to be putting out those kind of movies. So he
said he didn't realise how violent it was, I believe.
Something like that. But there's no way on earth that he's going to want to play Cletus Cassidy in an R-rated Venom movie. As cool as it would fucking be if he did, because he'd be sick. But he wouldn't do it. I know he wouldn't do it because he didn't want what to do with Kick-Ass, and that's like violent, but it's a comedy violence.
So who would you want to do it?
Well, my choice, and I said yesterday on my Facebook, is Walton Goggins. That's my choice, and I can't picture anyone else playing him now. Do you know Walton Goggins?
Yeah, I do. He's the guy that's always like the deputy sheriff, isn't he?
Lots of shit. He's the dude. You seen Hateful Eight? He's the guy who he's one of the what they called now. Thingy's Marauders, Mannix Marauders.
My man with the teeth, yeah.
Yeah, the teeth. So he's Chris Mannix, I think his name. Chris Mannix, one of the Mannix Marauders in Hateful Eight. But you've seen Predators, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, he plays the convict in Predators. And I think he played that convict sick. So if he turned that up tenfold and played Cletus Cassidy, he'd be sick. To me, he's got the voice for it. He's got the craziness. He's got the look. He looks fucking crazy. And also, he's an actor that people really fucking like. And he's a fucking joy to watch. Like in Sons of Anarchy, he's in that and he plays a transvestite. And he's fucking incredible. Like, he's so good. He was made for that Tarantino-style dialogue. And I think that him playing Carnage would be fucking awesome. So that's my Carnage. That's how I'd like to play. I don't know if you've got a shout.
No, I don't, because I'm not familiar enough with what the actual human guy is like. You know what I mean? I know what the Carnage character looks like, but that's about it from like a Marvel versus Capcom game way back in the day on PlayStation 1 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was also a Sega game called Maximum Carnage.
Cool.
Well, basically, Carnage is such a fucker that, like, I think the first time they defeat him, Spider-Man and Venom will fucking hate each other, have to team up to fight Carnage because he's that much of a problem. And then he can like turn his fucking hands into knives and axes and horrible shit. He's fucking vicious, mate. He's a proper problem. He'll look fucking sick on screen if they do him properly. I wasn't as a fan of the Venom design from the last movie. I think it worked at the time, but looking back, like, nowhere near impressive enough now. Like, to what they'll be able to do now, the direction they take it. I just hope that it ties into to the fucking Marvel MCU. It needs to. You can't make a Venom movie and it's nothing to do with Spider-Man. Venom comes from Spider-Man. The whole symbiote story comes from the fact that Peter Parker was the original Venom. So, I don't know. It's all up in the air, and things are always subject to change. Like the Han Solo movie that they're making at the minute, it's just been announced that they fucking kicked the directors off it and they got a new director, and that's one that's like in production and shit.
Is there a reason why they did that?
Well, it's not actually been. These two, I can't remember the names of the dudes. There's two guys that were directing it. I think they're like a father-son team or brothers or something like that. But yeah, it was just like creative differences, which is just like a nice professional way of saying that we just didn't get on and we couldn't agree on things, isn't it? So they've got a new director for that. So things can happen. In big Hollywood movies, things can change. But at the minute, who knows what's happening? But either way, I want Walton Goggins to play Carnage. That's my Carnage.
There you go.
That's my fucking dick on the table. Boom. Walton Goggins, let's go. I also saw the trailer today announced for a new Jackie Chan film, The Foreigner. I showed you it. What are you saying on that?
Yeah, it looked good, man. You know, it looks like a mixture of... You know that Arnold Schwarzenegger film that you've just been reviewing?
Aftermath.
Yeah, it looks like a mixture of Aftermath and Taken.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's like one of those. Like when I first saw it, I know Jackie Chan is like a big star in Asia, so he gets like the big budgets in Asia, and over here he'll still get a decent budget. Like his last film was one with Johnny Knoxville on Netflix, like the last like Western production. But this looks like it's got a good fucking cast. It's got a good budget. It's all set in London, and it's a cool story. Yeah, it was like IRA terrorists. Obviously, that's like a big fucking issue right now. So it's relatable. The IRA, the terrorists in question in this film, blow up his daughter. She's just getting in a car, isn't she? She blows up next to him. And he's trying to find out who the killer, right? Who the guys are that killed her. No one will tell him. And then he just starts going fucking rogue. And they find out he's like some ex fucking Vietnam soldier or special forces or something fucked.
And obviously, hold tight, homie Pierce Brosnan as the villain.
Well, what were funny in that? Have you ever seen the film The Long Good Friday?
Is that the one with the female assassin?
No, The Long Good Friday. It's got Ellen Mirren in it and shit. It's got Bob Hoskins and he plays.
No, I ain't seen that. Seen that.
He's basically the king of London. The king of London. Goes to war with the IRA, and what's funny is it's one of Pierce Brosnan's first ever roles, and he plays one of the IRA.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this film.
Yeah, he's got a sick fucking soundtrack, bro, and yeah, it's just funny because he's playing an IRA guy again in London. So it was just like a nice little nod in a way. But what's cool about this is Jackie Chan's known for doing like his comedy stuff, isn't it? Everything he does, he'll punch a few guys, and then he goes to punch someone else. They duck. He punches the fucking wall. And he's like, oh, shit, rubbing his hand and that, and then does some more funny shit. None of that in this.
There doesn't seem to be much comedy in this trailer.
No,
he looks like a traumatized father who's looking to kick some ass.
He looks like a man on the edge, like Liam Neeson in Taken, and they're my favourite fucking heroes. I don't like, as much as like John Wick's fucking cool and he's like bam 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 shooting everyone with perfect precision, he still gets battered, he still gets put down, and he'll walk through like the last 20 minutes of the film with a stab wound holding his side and shit. I like it when it's your dude that's just pushed to the fucking edge. The dude that he's probably he's like one of the best killers in the country right now. Is this dude Jackie Chan plays in The Foreigner, but he'd rather not kill. He's a family man, and then something fucks with him, and he's forced to use his fucking skills, like Liam Neeson in Taken. So it looks fucking cool, man. And I think the trailer might have just dropped today or like a couple of days ago, but it looks wicked, and it were going like mad on my Facebook. Everyone were passing it about, looking at it. So it's good to see Jackie do something dark and raw and serious.
That's it, because obviously Liam Neeson in Taken is like the opposite casting choice. He's a guy that is obviously an incredible actor, but the choice of using Aikido in that film made the fight scenes very frank and unsick, in my opinion.
Well, he didn't have to do any like flying kicks through doors and that kind of thing, did he? I suppose you can mask Aikido pretty well. You teach someone Aikido for 3 months, you can probably make them look on camera like they know what the fuck they're doing with some.
Of course. Like, why do you think Steven Seagal was able to blag a career off it? You know what I mean? He's a chubby, out of shape guy.
I know you don't like Steven Seagal, but I've differences of opinion differ on that.
You know what? It's not that I don't rate his films, man. He's just proven himself to be a fraudulent human being, and I know you can't respect that either. So fair play to his films, but come on, man, he's a fake motherfucker, man. You can't respect that, brother.
Well, we're talking about Jackie Chan. What were you saying?
We're talking about Liam Neeson, and well, basically, Aikido. Yeah, I'm not saying it's ineffective, but it's very limited. The shit that it has that looks cool. So all them fight scenes are always the same: a bunch of quick close chops, a little wrist lock throw, you know, all that sort of shit, innit? Whereas Jackie Chan's obviously going to fucking smash the fight scene, so it's like the polar opposite casting choice for like Taken. Because, I mean, I'm not saying Jackie Chan's a bad actor, just Liam Neeson obviously had that iconic shit in Taken. You know what I mean? He smashed the acting side of Taken.
Yeah, he did.
I think Jackie Chan's going to smash the I'm going to fuck you up side of this, I think.
Well, obviously, anyone that knows out about Jackie Chan knows that this is a dude that for years and years and years did all his own stunts and put himself through some fucking horrendous situations to get the shots that he wanted, and this is a dude that was probably
he's got a plastic plug in his skull.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
He's got a hole in his head from Armor of God. This is a guy who fucking, like, he wasn't happy. He would do the sickest, most fucking horrible stunt. It's Project A. He's hanging off a clock and he falls through like two. They're like these fucking.
That's the most. I know exactly what you mean, and that
what
is
they call,
one of
like,
the most
it's like a porch
fucked up
that comes down like a cloth porch, and he bounces through two and lands on his fucking
canopies.
Canopies,
like window canopies.
And he did it like 3 times and fell fucking horrendous on all 3 because he was just not convinced he didn't.
Mate, I do not know how he thought that was a good idea and how the director agreed to let him do that.
And how he did it 3 fucking times.
Because see, when you see it, there's not a pad and he's landing on like slightly sanded surface, and it's like you could have necked yourself, mate. You could have actually necked yourself so easily doing that shit, because one of the canopies could have just caught his legs, slung him fully like upside down vertical for the final bit of the drop, and just necked him. Like, I don't know, mate.
He's just a superhuman. He's made of rubber. That's what he does. Like, you see Police Story, some of the fight scenes in that, and also his team, his stunt team. There's a documentary that I watched. I think there's 2. There's Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, and that just tells you like about him, all his life. And then there's another one, and it's all about his fight choreography. It's like a 2-hour documentary all about Jackie Chan's stunts and fight choreography and how he does it and how they plan it. And they used to do shit where they, I mean, obviously everyone knows they put baby powder on the clothes and that, so when they punch they get more impact with the dust. But they like have fishing line in the shoe so that when Jackie Chan kicks them, they yank the shoe so that they fucking slam on the floor harder.
Yeah.
Those guys used to move so quick that people thought it were in sped up, that they sped it up, but they hadn't. It would just,
you know, one thing I learned from watching Jackie Chan talk about the stunts is, like, you know, when someone gets spin kicked, for instance, they sometimes do that thing where they twirl in the air a little bit as they fall. Well, that's got a name. See his stunt program, it's like Fall A, Fall B, so like, and they learn it, so like, imagine Fall A is like a pro wrestling just flat on your back one.
Yeah.
And then B's like, you know that one when you get clotheslined and you do like a sort of somersaulty thing.
Yeah.
So say that's B, and they've got it all like a science like that, so when they're programming their fight scenes, they'll be like, you react to this kick with fall C in this direction, and straight away the stunt guy will be like, safe, I practice that fall every day, it's part of our syllabus of falls we practice. Like, it's so professional, mate. I didn't even realise they went that deep with it, and all the falls I've got their own specific things and shit.
And all that stuff they use, like using their environment, they have to do those fight scenes like 20 times over and over and over again just to get them to flow so perfect. So anything you see, they'll have done that 20 to 50 times or some shit, 100 times to get the fucking shot right. And so many times, like, if the stunt went wrong, you carry on until he says cut. So there's a part in Police Story 1, I think it is, where there's 2 guys driving in a bus and the bus stops and they're supposed to like fly out the front windows and land on a car, but they flew out wrong and land on the fucking head. And Jackie Chan has to stay. Brutal, isn't it? Jackie has to stay in fucking character and then just move around the side of the car until he said cut. He said the majority of his, again, if you this Incredibly Strange Film Show with Jonathan Ross I were talking about earlier from the 90s. He also does an episode on Jackie Chan, and Jackie says to him, it goes like lights, camera, action, cut, hospital. That's how it goes. There's a bit in my favourite Jackie Chan film, Rumble in the Bronx. There's a part in that where he broke his leg.
Mate, I fucking love Rumble in the Bronx. Yeah,
film.
and see when he puts the Nike sock over his cast and keeps filming. Yeah,
he painted his cast foot. Like skin colour and carried on. Yeah. But
it was sick, mate. Like the prop department must have made him a little Nike trainer sock that completely matched his shoe.
Yeah. They did over his cast.
Pulled it over his cast. Yeah.
It's like some
but
kind of rubber
that
sock
stunt
thing.
is insane. Like running off the building and landing in the fucking balcony of the opposing building, and then. But my favourite part in that is see the fight scene in the sort of, you know, the Foot Clan base, the bit where Pinocchio gets taken, where they're all smoking cigars. You know that
He's
bit
fighting
where
with all like the
machines
pinball machines and the fridges and shit.
Yeah, and coming out the shopping trolleys and all that, mate. That's fucking ridiculous, man. Like,
I mean, as much as people will put something like The Raid on now and think, fucking hell, this is the best stuff ever. Jackie Chan were doing that shit years and years and years before. He just weren't using blood in it. There's a bit of blood. There's a bit of blood in stuff like Rumble in the Bronx, where they're throwing bottles at him and stuff. But he weren't like hacking at. But if you would have put machetes in his hands and made it an 18, it would have been exactly the fucking same, and it would have been fucking 30 years before and fucking unbelievable.
One of the most brutal ones was you remember in this like fucking hell, because obviously Jackie part of the parcel of a Jackie Chan film is waiting to the end credits for the stunt reel outtakes, and at Rumble in the Bronx has a few famous ones. There's a bit in the film where Jackie Chan like drops down. He's against the wall and he drops down in time that they're pushing a pinball machine up against the wall, and he drops down in time that he dodges it. And then the special features you just see, like the first take, man, it just smashes into his fucking head. And then but the worst one was actually a female stunt bike driver. You know that street gang all had
they're sick, man. Classic 80s punk gang, Streets of Rage style.
Yeah, she goes over the fucking bike straight on her fucking neck or something. I forget exactly the way it went, but I know
exactly which bit you mean.
Brutal, man.
One of my favourite bits in that whole film, and you blink and you'll miss it, is when the punks all trash the shop that he's protecting, and there's like someone on a crossover like and they just smash straight into like a fucking fridge full of cans of Coke or something. But they just like come in with such force and just go bang and just hit it like flat on, and just like the fridge don't move and he smash into it. It's so fucking brutal, that shot. There's also like an uncut version. So one version you get, we don't throw bottles at him for as long as the uncut version. No, when he's in the alleyway and he's getting bottles thrown at him for ages and he's bleeding.
Yeah.
I've seen one before that's a bit more cut down. I think the one that was on Netflix is the uncut one. I think my DVD's cut, which is not good. That's something else I'll lose sleep over. Something as fucking linear as that, to me, that's a big deal. People losing sleep over like who's running the country. I'm losing sleep over the fact I didn't buy a Fishman mask and that I haven't got the uncut fucking Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, you might disagree with this as well, but low key, one of my favourite Jackie Chan films is Shanghai Noon. I think all the elements worked in that, and he had some sick fight scenes against like Apache and Native Americans.
Yeah.
And I thought all the characters were quite sick in that. Michelle Yeoh was in it as well.
I haven't probably watched it, to be honest, that one, for many, many, many years. I remember I only watched Around the World in 80 Days because Schwarzenegger was in it.
Mate, I'm telling you, Shanghai Noon's actually a sick film, and there's a bit where there's like, you know, like a big bit of tree, that's fallen over.
Yeah.
And it's maybe a foot above Jackie Chan's head. And there's an Apache Native American about to come at him with a tomahawk. And he jumps up, grabs this bit of wood, and uses it as like a springboard. And he does a fucking like back somersault over the guy, and then just quickly goes and I was like, oh shit, Jackie, you've still got it, brother. Like, I'm telling you, that film's sick, mate. He uses
I'll have to revisit it, bro. It's him and Owen Wilson in it.
Yeah, Owen Wilson. Like, Shanghai Nights, the sequel is shit. But Shanghai Noon is actually a well-made film, mate. Like, actually a good film, bro. The comedy works, all sorts, everything works in it. It was the first film where I was genuinely like, rah, Jackie, you're a sick actor. You see when his uncle gets shot on a train at the start?
Yeah.
I was the first time I'd seen Jackie do a proper little emotional bit, and I was like, oh shit, Jackie Chan can act, man. I'd fuck people up.
It looks like we'll get plenty of that in Foreigner.
Yeah, man, I thoroughly enjoyed Shanghai Noon, so I highly recommend that film.
Something I'm really looking forward to, and this has been fucking well overdue, to be honest, but Jackie Chan and Sylvester Stallone are teaming up in a film called Ex-Baghdad, that's coming out, that's probably be out next year or some shit. It's like currently in the fucking production stages at post-production or something like that. Oh, 2019 it's scheduled for, just had a quick look. Yeah, ex-Baghdad it's called. And it's apparently 2 ex-Special Forces soldiers must escort a group of civilians along Baghdad's highway of death to the safety of the Green Zone. So that again sounds like it's going to be some R-rated, pretty fucking gritty, down and dirty kind of thing. So maybe that's the direction Jackie Chan's going to go in for a little bit.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though, Jackie Chan, as you were saying, Jackie Chan's always been quite adverse to gratuitous violence in his films. He doesn't like gore and blood and shit like that. And this new film, you see someone with a combat knife and shit. I wonder if he's going to stick to that, or maybe he's had a change of heart and he's going to do some more hardcore shit. Who knows?
Well, look, Keanu Reeves did it and it's fucking worked well for him, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
with John Wick, like he went tenfold with the amount of violence, and I know he'd done stuff like Speed and shit, but it weren't. I don't mean he's done Speed the drug. I mean he did the film Speed and stuff, and and like as much as they were like action films and stuff, he weren't headshotting motherfuckers left, right, and centre and spraying the fucking face all over walls. So. So yeah, either way, I'm looking forward to Foreigner, and it looks like it's going to be very fucking promising. I hope it gets a good cinema release and it gets some good press. Get some good promo, some good advertisement before, so people actually go and see it, and don't sit on a fucking streaming little Fire Stick and watch it on that. Go to the cinema. The cinema is the greatest place in the world. It's the sickest place. It's where dreams are made. You can be part of the event when something like Avatar comes out. You want to be watching that in a cinema. You want to like the big films that warrant being watched in a cinema. The big fucking IMAX, nachos, hot dog, big Coke. Big fucking popcorn, 6 surround Dolby sound. That's where a film should be watched.
Plus, the only way I just like the idea of like Jackie Chan finally playing some like special forces, fully trained up breeder, because that's the only way to actually explain what he does. He can't just play a guy that like works in a shop and then just fucking whips the shit out of 200 people. Do you know what I mean?
But he does.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's at least there's a like explanation now that makes his badassery even cooler, because you know now they're treating him in that fucking John Wick sort of vein. He's like a badass in it. They don't know who they're fucking with.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just before we round up today's episode, I know you wanted to talk about the UFC quickly, because there was quite a sad moment with homie Fedor.
Well, that actually wasn't UFC, that was Bellator. So I want to talk about Bellator and UFC, because there was a couple things that happened in Bellator I want to discuss. So first of all, the lightweight champion of Bellator, Michael Chandler, fought Brent Primus, and Michael Chandler, within the first 30 seconds of the fight. Now keep in mind, Michael Chandler was a huge favourite. He's a dominant champion in Bellator. He went over on his ankle the same way I did, bro. Remember I had... Yeah, remember my ankle was fucked for 8 months. I fully detached the outside ligament. My ankle went like...
You're giving people your weak spots away. Anyone that wants to fight you now is going to be like, I'm going to go for his fucking ankle.
No, like it's all good. Like it's all good now. I don't have that ligament.
Sound nah. Oh, it's alright nah. You can have a pop nah. You'd be fucking... I fought
at first. My foot was always going to be a bit weird, and it will be, but because I was stupid, I should have went to the hospital straight away. But what happened was I was like, oh, I've broken a bone there. I've broken that bone before. It's all good. Fuck the hospital, like an idiot, because I hate the hospital. And then 8 months later, I was like, right, I'm still getting pain in my foot, and I can't like get up. I can't like get up on my toes when I'm using my footwork while I'm practicing kickboxing. And then they basically told me I'd completely detached a ligament on my outside of my ankle.
Just to jump in very quick, when we were training for Unit 11, we were doing a bit of parkour, and I was doing backflips, and I did a flip, and I landed wrong and fucked my ankle up, and like right fucking it. I thought I just twisted it bad, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up in the middle of the night with my foot looking like a fucking elephant, proper burning, and I was like, oh mate. And a sprain can be worse than a fucking break, mate. And literally like a year and a half later, I'd be like sometimes stepping off a curb and shit, and I'd be like, oh fucking hell, it just shoot through every now and again. It's alright now. Anytime I do anything now at martial arts or parkour or anything, I just strap my ankles up, but you just live and learn, don't you? There's quite a few scenes in Unit 11 where you'll see me running and my legs a bit dicky because I had to get on with filming anyway. But anyway, you were saying about...
long story short, my fucking ankle eventually got back to normal feeling, and it does feel like the weight is slightly jeopardized on that side, so like I had to change my movement a bit, but yeah, I can fucking still do my shit now, so it's all good. But yeah, anyway...
You'll never know which ankle. He'll give you as much as to let you know one of his ankles isn't as good as it could be, but you'll never know which one, and you probably won't be around long enough to find out.
No, it's not that jeopardizing, trust me. I can still do everything that I could before, so it's cool. Yeah, so anyway, but Michael Chandler went over on his ankle in the same way I did, mate, and it was just fucking horrific to watch, because he was such a highly dominant, like, expected to win, and he just had a floppy ankle, mate. And he was just trying to fucking continue to fight with an ankle that was just not supporting his weight anymore. And the fight got stopped soon after, so it was just like a weird upset for that other guy, basically. Then Fedor, the greatest heavyweight MMA fighter of all time, was fighting Matt Mitrione. Matt Mitrione is a guy that was a natural great athlete who came from a NFL team. So, you know, he was a proper top level genetic specimen, to make it to the NFL. But yeah, he's only been doing MMA for like 10 years, and the first exchange of the fight, they both threw a right cross, they both dropped each other. Matt Mitrione recovered quicker than Fedor just got on him and knocked him out, and it was fucking just a depressing thing to see, mate. And then Vanderlei Silva fought Chael Sonnen in the main event as well, but I don't even want to talk about that too much. All I'll say about that is, if you know anything about when Chael Sonnen wins, it was a textbook Chael Sonnen victory. He just took Vanderlei Silva down and like peppered him up with shots to win the decision. So, but yeah, then okay, so and also though, no, I have to say one more thing.
Do it.
I fell in love with Heather Hardy. Heather Hardy is my gal, mate.
Is that you, yeah?
Yeah,
I'm the one that falls in love with girls off at telly all the time. You're not usually that guy.
Mate, I know, mate. Heather Hardy is a boxer from Brooklyn, and she's like the real life Harley Quinn, bro. She's got the Harley Quinn accent, the Harley Quinn swagger. She's fucking dope, mate. Yeah, and she's a badass boxer. She finished, who was she fighting? Alice Jaeger. She finished her in the third round as well. She's a sick boxer. Check her out. Yeah, okay, and then UFC happened, and another depressing event happened. Well, kind of depressing, but not for me. But BJ Penn came back, and a lot of people love BJ Penn. He's regarded as a legend.
Yeah.
And he was fighting Dennis Seaver. Now, me personally, I'm actually a bigger Dennis Seaver fan than I am a BJ Penn one. So it was quite interesting to me to see Dennis Seaver beat BJ Penn. He won 2 rounds. BJ Penn knocked him down in the second round, but Dennis Seaver clearly outpointed him in all 3 rounds. But BJ Penn won the second because of the knockdown. So yeah, Dennis Seaver pulled out the unexpected victory against BJ Penn, man. Smashed it. So yeah, big up to Dennis Seaver. And much respect to BJ Penn for what he's done. But me personally, I'm just not the biggest BJ Penn fan. So
you don't have to be. That's fine.
Yeah, man. But I've got respect for all fighters. But yeah, it's just certain things that people have said about his character outside of the cage. I used to be a huge BJ Penn fan, but you know me, Theo. If I hear like someone's a bit of a dick, a person, a proper go off them, you know that about me from fucking.
Well, and with valuable evidence, not because you just hear one person say it. I know you'll research that shit and you'll find out the truths and the lies.
Yeah. No, it just seems like a bit of I don't know. I don't even want to go into it, mate. But yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not the biggest BJ Penn fan anymore. Put it that way.
So what happened with Fedor?
So yeah, well, I told you about Fedor, man. I said fucking him and Matt Mitrione fought.
Yeah, you told me. You didn't tell the listeners of the podcast. You forget that we're even recording.
I did. I said it a minute ago.
Did you? I forget. I thought that was like a big thing you was going to go into, like saying.
No. I briefly touched on it because Fedor got finished within the first minute.
I was distracted because I was looking for Heather Hardy. You told me to look her up. What do you think of her? But I don't really. I'm not attracted to any girl that's gonna fucking punch my skull in if we get into an argument. So no, I'll stay well away from that one. You can
You're not
have
have a hard enough.
Most girls I ever come into contact with are fucking scary enough, fucking questioning what you're doing and fucking kicking off about stuff. The last thing I want to do is get close to one that will actually punch my fucking skull in if it's that time at month.
Man, I've never hit a woman, but I suppose if she's like a pro fighter, it's not domestic violence anymore. It's just a sparring session.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
suppose
I mean?
it is. I suppose if she's a pro fighter, it ain't gonna be a sparring session though, is it? It's just gonna be you getting your fucking head handed to you, man, by someone that's a pro fucking killer.
That's it, man. Ah, well, fuck it, man. I'll take one for the team. She can try and knock me out or whatever.
Well, on that note, I think we're gonna round it up for today. I've been Theo Cane, that's Respek BA, and this is the Lowdown Shelter. It's been episode 14. If you want to check out any of our previous episodes, always go to www.slimehousetv.com. We always want questions and discussion topics, so I urge the importance of sending it, because we don't catch everything. There's stuff that goes under our radar as much as we try and keep on point with shit. So any discussion topics you've got, just hit us up at facebook.com/SlimehouseTV. You can also get us on the YouTube, which is youtube.com/SlimehouseTV. We're both on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. So yeah, just hit us up, man. Very, very, very easy to find. But yeah, that's episode 14 of the Lowdown Shelter with myself, Theo Cane, and Respek BA. We'll catch you next time, next week, same bat time, same bat channel, or should I say slime time and slime channel sounds a little bit better. But for now, we're gone. Peace.